Yo, what is up folks, MTG here, and this is what I'm calling Elder Bean Fried. It is a Up the Beanstalk creature-based deck playing Elder Deep Fiend, which is a bit of a, hey, you know what, if they could play it in Modern, we could definitely play it in Pioneer and Explorer, and so we're trying it out in some Explorer ranked games. If you're not familiar with Elder Deep Fiend, 8 mana, colorless, 5/6 flash. When you cast a spell, tap up to 4 target permanents, and that in itself is pretty underwhelming, but it has a submerge ability for 5 blue. If you sacrifice a creature, you can pay the emerge cost instead of the mana cost, and you reduce that emerge cost by the creature's convert mana cost. So hey, it costs 7 mana if you emerge off an Ornithopter, it costs 4 mana if you're emerging off of a 3-drop, 5 mana if you're emerging off a 2-drop, or, and this is where things get pretty interesting, 2 mana if you're emerging off of one of these convoke cards. We've got Knight Errant and Venerated Loxodon, which also happen to trigger Up the Beanstalk. So we have like 12 good triggers here, and some more removal stuff, but I thought I'd try this shell out, see how we go, and then maybe make some changes later on. There's some other nice synergy pieces, and some pretty nice cards too. Up the Beanstalk being the other key card of the deck, obviously. It's currently everywhere in all formats, but 1 and a green, enchantment, ETB, and whenever you cast a spell with mana value 5 or greater, draw a card. So, hey. Even though the small creatures don't trigger it, hey, it triggers itself, and then we're kind of using those small creatures to convoke our big creatures that do trigger it, and then also power out Elder Deep Fiend. Tap 4 target permanents, I should also say. This is a lot. If you've not played with something like Mist Blind Clique and that kind of stuff, you can use it to tap lands, you can use it to tap creatures. It kind of slices and dices. It acts as a time walk a lot of the time. You can just flash in your upkeep, tap your opponent's lands, and they can't do anything. It's pretty powerful, pretty powerful. The one thing we don't have here, there is a land from Zendikar from Battle for Zendikar that allows you to basically, when you cast a 7 or greater convert a mana cost card, to sacrifice that land and then go search for another one. And you used to use this to be able to chain Elder Deep Fiends. It might be a bit too cute anyway, but yeah, it's one thing that we're not allowed to do here, sadly. But the rest of the show's kind of focused on convoking these, Elder Deep Fiend, and being a little bit disruptive. So we have 4 copies of Lana Roth and 4 copies of Elvish Mystic. So our mana guys help power out things. We're drawing a lot of cards between Beanstalk and then also being able to get things off of Knight Errant. And so hey, these aren't going to be terrible top decks later on. Or at least if they are, you're hopefully drawing enough cards that it doesn't matter. Playing into the fact that we're playing 4 copies of Knight Errant Eos, we have 2 copies of Giant Killer, which is some creature removal that we can kind of pseudo 2/4. Destroy target creature power 4 or greater for that chop down adventure. And then also, hey, it's a 1-drop that you can use to convoke out these other guys and kind of plays into your early game. At 2, obviously we've got 4 copies of Up the Beanstalk. We have 4 copies of Prosperous Innkeeper, which generates both mana via treasures and then also is a creature itself that can convoke with. That is very strange, it keeps happening apparently, but also gives you some life gain. So whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 1 life as well. And then Voice Resurgence. I've been playing this kind of suite of creatures in quite a lot of decks recently, but it's really powerful, especially versus control, because whenever an opponent casts a spell during your turn, or when it dies, create a green-white elemental creature token with this creature's power times equals the total number of creatures you control. Which, hey, we're playing quite a lot to the board. We're going to have a lot of creatures. Nice. Really disruptive for control decks. It means your opponent has to really careful with their removal, and is super nice. And it's also a great thing to sacrifice. 5 mana when we've got elves and things isn't actually that much to deep fried off of it, and then getting the big creature off the back of it is pretty nice too. At 3 then, we have a couple of things. So Night of Autumn, slices and dices, 2 counters on it, either or destroy target artifact or enchantment, or gain 4 life. Pretty nice. And then we have Reflector Mage. Reflector Mage is the choice we're using here instead of something like Skyclave Apparition or that kind of effect that like exiles something under it, because we're looking to sacrifice our 3-drops to go and Deep Fiend with. We don't want something that when you like sacrifice it, they get their thing back. And so Reflector Mage is a nice choice there. Also, being able to just delay your opponent by a turn, especially to get stuck with like cards in their hand, is really nice. Fierce Empath is kind of a sweet one. 2 and a green for a 1/1, which is like not very exciting, but does search your library for a creature card with mana value 6 or greater. Believe it or not, we only have one on the deck. It's Elder Deep Fiend, and you can also emerge off of this Empath into the Deep Fiend itself, which is pretty nice. If you've got some mana, you can just go, hey, I'm going to play this, and then immediately emerge off it, or a Venerated Loxodon or something like that you've got lying around and play. The 5-drops kind of keep everything together. We've got 4 copies of Venerated Loxodon and 4 copies of Knight Errant Eos. Loxodon kind of buffs up your board and turns these kind of weak creatures into things that can actually threaten to do your opponent a lot of damage. Knight Errant Eos is a card drawing engine. When he enters the battlefield, you look at the top 6 and reveal 2 creature cards with mana value X or less, where X is the number of creatures that convoked it. Normally we're looking to convoke for 3 creatures or 2 creatures, which will grab you all of these, and it can also tutor for Giant Killer all your pieces of kind of like removal / interaction here as well, which is super nice. And then at the top, 4 copies of Elder Deep Fiend. I believe I'm playing 21 lands. Kind of a little bit testing on the mana base. I'm playing a Beseiju, but I'm not using any other utility lands at the moment. I'm going to kind of see how things go and decide whether we want to add some more. But importantly, we want to cast these 8 mana elves on turn 1. So we have 4 Reading Pools, 4 Botanical Sanctums, 2 Bark Channel Pathways, 4 Razor Edge Thickets, a Forest, a Beseiju, so those all cast that if need be. Then we have some blue-white lands with Hallow Fountain and Hengate Pathway, and then also we have an island and a plain. We'll be taking into best of 1. I'd apparently put a couple of cards in here for sideboarding, and they're Deputy Detentions, which is, hey, not a bad start, but again, you have to be a little bit careful what you're putting in to sacrifice off of Deep Fiend. But there are some nice bank cards to sideboard with, because we're playing CMC 5 or greater. There's some cool 5-mana planeswalkers you can play, like Vivian, and also, like, I was tempted to play or try and make Leyline Binding work, but really, you're really sacrificing your mana base and won't be able to do any early stuff. So playing the convert creatures efficiently while playing Leyline Binding isn't very easy, unless you're committing to like casting it for 3 each time, which I don't think is very efficient. And so, hey, you can. There's another Beanstalk control deck which you can do that with. I think I do have a list on the channel actually, so check that out, I guess. And yeah, we're going to take this into some best of 1 ranked matches and see how it goes. If you're not already, please subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate it. It's free, it supports me, etc, etc. And yeah, match time. Alright, here we are into our first match with Elder Deep Fried Beans, I think is the appropriate name. Unfortunately, these are all expensive cards. I'm going to mulligan this. And this looks pretty solid. We have like 3/5 drops. And we will put one of the Loxodons back. But hey, Elvish Mystic plus Prosperous Innkeeper means we can at least make one of these on turn 3. Assuming no interaction, but hey, we'll see. We can always hope. Our opponent has also mulliganed, by the looks of it. See how this goes. Yeah, the Knight Errant really helps make these kind of hands where you can kind of draw some cards off of it. Kind of make sure that you're going to be able to compete. They've actually gone to 5, unfortunately. We'll see how this actually goes. Mystic in. Again. Red Swift Spear. Okay. Yeah, no blocks. Voice is pretty powerful. I think I'm just going to go ahead and make this on turn 2. I'm kind of forced to deal with it, because otherwise I will happily block regardless of what happens next. And then they're kind of forced to use a couple of resources to get through the Swift Spear wall. And with the token we'll still be able to convoke for one of these. Oh, Virtuoso, it's actually Boris. Ooh, that's a bit more dangerous. I think we still want to do this, but we can go ahead and play a creature out first. Maybe in that case... No, I think we should Knight Errant. You might want to find a piece of try and find a piece of interaction. And I'm going to go ahead and convoke 5. Let's see what we get here. The life could also be important. This is rough. And hey, there are, I guess, a number of misses. But, alas. Legionnaire, they have 1 mana. Oh, it's the fight spell. Yeah. Oh, not fight spell. It's kind of like a fight spell. Yeah, Reckless Age is pretty good here. They're going to come across for a lot of damage. 13. The good thing is that they only have 1 card, which means they probably don't have a trample enabler, but still in a bit of a pickle. We're also being on 1 land. Hey. We're going to convoke not the Voice Resurgence, basically. We'll make sure we actually tap these for convoke and not for mana, so they got the counters. Alright, and we'll no blocks here. Okay. It's a bit of a weird one. With the right cards, they can just win this on the spot, nearly, which is the thing about the red-white deck. This is maybe my deck vote for best deck in format at the minute. Obviously has some glaring weaknesses, but is just so powerful. Especially with the new trample enabler. So I'm going to move to combat. I kind of am forced to put this. This has trample. A die, right? There's a reasonable shot that locks it on lives if I block like this. I guess they're also not, like, hard committed to anything. We'll get the token back from the voice, which will be quite big. I maybe should have forced the block on this. Alright. Yeah. Weird one. So, we want to be able to use this what we can. Then actually the tap is going to be huge. So, like, do we respect the last card we have in their hand? I think actually closing the game out, or threatening to close the game out is pretty good. I'm just going to attack. We're at 10. You have a reasonable chance to close it out depending on what their hand looks like. So, oh, Homestead Courage is big. So, hey, unless they've got a trample enabler. The thing is, it gets them, like, kind of loot through a bunch of cards as well. Yeah, I was gonna say, it means the other card they had is probably a land. I think this is probably the card they drew. They had a land in hand. Otherwise, generally, you may be more likely to loot the Homestead Courage way if possible. I'm gonna go ahead and block with an elf. Yeah, that makes sense. One of those things where like kinda dead to a trampler. They can't be planning to ambush this, right? I think this is good. Oh, I should have stopped, press the stop on Overkeep and then take guy. But, then we're going to stop targeting. Oh, that's going to go through. They didn't have a protection spell. Alright. That makes us feel a little bit better. Gonna go for, yeah, gonna go for it. They haven't. Okay. As if they have a... No, they can't have a removal spell for the elemental, which means we're good. But they can maybe have a removal spell for a little guy if we attacked with... Well, anyway, alright, cool. Nice game. Go to the next one. Alright, second match. Had a nice win there. We do have Beanstalks this time, which is good, because, like, not drawing the new cards we're trying to test is misery. Appears to be against actual red here, though. Instead of something... Ooh, the third. A second mana creature. Even something to do after the bean this turn. Reasonable. We are currently lacking a white source, which might be rough. Is this going to be a stomp here, or we got something else? No, robber. You got all aggression. Oh, play still a fearsome battle. At least they don't have any targets, but we do go to 16. Okay. I'm gonna play a bean. I really want to draw towards. Okay, that's a land for next turn. We'll go ahead and play out of the mana guy. We then have access to Reflector Mage, and then also Night. There we go. We need some stuff. We are taking 6, I think, though. I don't really want to block. I don't want to sack the south off for nothing. Taking 2 to play this. This is kind of a yikes. We can also go Reflector Mage on the Robber, which I think is somewhat reasonable. We're taking 2 to do this either way. The worry is if we go Knight Errant, they've still got 4 damage coming in if they attack through it. This make 2 elves. Is that good? I think we have to kind of try and make something happen here. Let's go ahead and convoke out the Knight. This is what we built the deck to do. Actually, drew voice, and we get to grab these 2. It's not bad, but they do have flyers in play. So it is possible that we're dead on board. That is a Torbran. We are in fact dead on board. Oh my fucking deal with it. To be fair, the other strategy we'd have gone to A for the Howl Fountain, played this, been able to block one of these. We wouldn't be just dead, we'd be effectively dead. Like, we'd still die to the Phoenix checks the next turn. Alright, well, that was a very fast one. Next game again. Game 3. Yeah, pretty brutal stomping there by red. This is an interesting hand. We have an elf. We don't have anything currently to bridge here, but we can maybe, like, we may end up, this might be a game where we end up just giant killering as a creature. I think I'm going to keep this. It's a little risky, but I think we can roll with it. Like, if we play the giant killer, then either land or one of our cheap creatures will get us kind of through the early game. This is sacrifice. That is kind of a draw. I think the way this is going, this giant killer is never going to be relevant. Just play out the innkeeper and make a giant killer here. The life gain is nice, but we will still kind of get slapped if they make a Mayhem Devil early. Let's see they have on 2 though. Witch's Oven, do they have a claim? No, it's triple Witch's Oven though. I think we're best off being fast as possible. Maybe, do you want to sacrifice his treasure is I guess the question. I think getting the toughness boost on all our creatures is just way too valuable. We'll go ahead and convert this out. Alright. This is like a huge clock as well. Now they really have to do something. They're in fact going to scoop their cards up. Okay, well, there's a couple of quick games. I'll see you in the next one. Nice. Alright, next match here. We are on the plate. We'll keep it. Oh, no, sorry. We're on the draw. We'll keep, though. We've got beans. We've got the Loxodon. We'll see. There is a slight concern that if our opponents are very fast, we might be a matchup where the beans are a little too slow. There's a possibility for that. But I defy that logic and say that beans will be good no matter what. Surely. But maybe there are matchups like Mono Red where actually these are just not good enough when you are on the... when you're playing them. They're just a bit too slow. And so maybe you want to board them out. If you're playing best of 3 versus 8, and you're like versus actual Mono Red. Solid. I think we... yeah. It's a weird one where like the giant killer's not going to do anything, but you definitely want to get out mana-wise first. Let's see what they have here. It looks like they've got a Jawari disruption, just because they're pausing here. Maybe they veto this, but we'll see. It does resolve, which gives us a little bit of insurance across the course of the game. Land, we'll make an elf. I was going to say, if the disruption the elf, that's a little sad, but hey, here's what it is. So this turn coming, we have the option to convoke out Loxodon and draw a card. Or make a Beanstalk and just like bean attack. They've shown Hallowed Fountain Island Field of Ruin. It doesn't look like they're playing creature deck, so I kind of just want to make Bean and then make Reflector Mage. Even though it doesn't seem like great. One of these things where like, hey, we get another Bean down. That means we're getting a load of card advantage over the course of the game. It looks like they're on a blue-white control deck, even though it's not kind of guaranteed at this point. That's fine. We're kind of happy-ish, or happy enough for the time being to play the long con. As long as we're drawing, as long as we have the lands to cast our spells, these will make sure that we're doing alright. And if you have to cast as a 5-mana 4-port at some point, at least it's drawing us 2 cards. Okay. We're in the tank. What are we doing over there? What are we up to? I'm going to fire our field. Field is fine. I think I want to get a blue source to make sure we... No, I don't need a blue source. We can cast Deep Red anyway. We get a... yeah, I think we get plains. We've got the blue sword off the bottom channel, we've got plenty of green sources. We basically want to make sure that we've got double blue where possible for Elder Deep Fiend. And this is kind of why I'm playing one of each basic at the minute, because I'm fed up of being fed red. Either from like blue-white or from mono-black, like the Castle deck. Ooh, that's really good. We do have some answers though. That's tough. I need to draw a bunch of cards off of this. Let's attack. I'm just gonna play the giant killer out. Also go, and then end a turn, we'll go with the temporary lockdown. Five mana. Sure. Yeah, they are farmlands. We'll go ahead and besiege you, temporary lockdown, and draw some cards. Don't think they'll have a way to counter the ability. Means we're back kind of on parity with cards and things. They're a mana ahead, unfortunately, because of besiege you, but kind of definitely worth it. These Beanstalks have already drawn us 2 cards each. Wow, we've not even converted off them yet. Alright, first up is an interesting one. How do we want to do this? I think maybe we hold this empath for later. I'm ever so slightly worried. Three, 4, 5. Yeah, we like lose out on a mana. We actually, it feels bad to not get an extra card here, but I think I want to bean off this, like this. Yeah, we can't play the bean, do that, and then also have access to EDF. Fine. Maybe I should have just probably done that. It was like, if we draw an Elder Deep Fiend, we can cast the taps. Oh, it auto tapped my Tide Channel pathway. It like gave us half the option. Okay, well, here we are. I don't want to extend the voice resurgence because these can get swept up by temporary lockdown again. I think I'm just gonna play the Beanstalk anyway, despite everything. Because worst it gets exiled by temporary lockdown. One of those things where I'm not gonna veto it. Okay, that's nice to know at least. Going to 4 cards. We assume they're going to play some kind of sweeper here. If it's farewell and they can exile the Beanstalk, because that's not great. Creatures, graveyards, artifacts, enchantments. Sounds right. I'm sure I have one next to me I can read. Let's go to combat. I'm not going to play around. Call it. I'm not going to play around Out of the Wreckage. One of these with voice resurgence. We'll happily find 2 basics. Gosh, they're taking a lot of damage. Let me try this then. Just checking what it's tapping. Realistically, you should just use full control when mana costs matter, but be a little careful. The important thing here is that Elder Deep Fiend is a cast ability. I didn't mention the tech, which means that even if they counter the spell, the cast ability still goes through. So on their upkeep, I'm gonna Deluge here. on their upkeep, I'm going to tap 4 of their lands, and then they're not going to have much mana to use. They can use that mana to counter the Deep Fiend, but they're not going to be able to use it to Wrath, which is the point. Big sad. We'll cast these. We're going to tap these 4 lands. And draw a card. And maybe have a 5/6. If we had 1 more mana, we could have emerged off of the Fierce Path, which should have been the actual PG Nori. Here, they may still live on a small amount of life. But it looks like this might resolve. Alright, it does. Nice, you may draw a card. I'm just going to put a stop here again. One of those things you need to be a little careful on Arena, because if you, like, all of a sudden you don't have anything to do. You just play on full controllers then. We'll try. But, it moves through phases for you, which is all candy. Nice! That is Elder Deep Fiend coming in clutch. Sweet. That's a nice one. Alright, match number... I think this is maybe match number 5. Because I got a couple of short ones. We'll see where we are after this if we want to play another. I will keep this. We have Elves and Bean, which is good enough for me. That's good enough for me. Vote them out. But hey, we'll see what our opponent's on. Green, white. Also an elf. Off of this start, I would normally assume angels, but it could not be. We have the option to just dump our hand of elves here. We only have 2, so I think it's still worth playing that Deep Fiend. I'm going to Beanstalk first, just in case we draw like some other land we want to play, because obviously Besage we want to try and save. But we will commit it to the board anyway. Alright, would like a white land? That would be amazing. But if not, well, if not, we'll see. This is the time where I want to draw a hand. This is actually green-white elves. That is not exactly what I want to see either. Oh dear. Still a bit of a chance. Llanowar Elf into Dwayne Fleet is not the fastest start. They do have a War Master, and they can immediately go War Master into another 2-drop. If they have War Master, that's pretty rough. But they at least don't have the mana to activate at the moment. They've just gone very, very wide. Drawing, convoking on. Maybe the mana base needs more work. To be fair, like, hey, this is what it is. I don't think it's worth trying to play like geese or something. But yeah. That was a little unfortunate. Dwayne and delete here. They have a lot of elves. We have some 1/1s. I don't think... this is probably our last turn. They're currently at 5 mana, so they're still 2 mana off being able to like activate War Master. Oh, this is a white source as well. What do we need here? And we can cast off of it, or do we want to try and block enough stuff? We are dead eventually. There's an amount of like if we like chain Reflector Mages we can get there, but that's not progressing our board in a meaningful way. I think we do this and convoke for 2. Let's see what we draw here. Yeah, we really got kind of time walked a bit. Oh, they've got quarter calling. Game is absolutely over. I assume they've got quarter calling. We're not showing it yet. This empath is not up to much. So you get to see that anyway. I'll reveal an elf and a voice. I guess I reveal elf. You might need to do some chop blocking. I'll play one of these. Okay. I say might. Yeah, we might need to do some chop blocking. Alright. It looks like they've got a quarter calling. Oh, they have a bodyguard. Okay. Yeah, so this is one of the reasons. I did release an elf video on Monday? Yeah. Green White Elves now kind of the way to build. Or at least with the secluded courtyard lands, you don't need to play it. You can play enough white and black sources to play both this and Shaman of the Pack. But not this Shaman of the Pack and yeah, that's GG. Alright, that is the Shaman. Fair. I think we'll play one more and then that'll be it. Tough loss to elves there. We definitely just like stumbled. We're gonna mulligan this. We've got 5-drop, 5-drop, 3-drop. It's a bit better. Oh, it's a lot better. We don't have a white source, we have Beanstalk, and then Keeper can make white. It's not too bad. I think we put back one of the convoke creatures, but it's kind of close. 3 lands will at least get us to this very area locks in on. Methinks. Opponent is tanking on their mulligan decision though, so we'll see how this pans out. I think the deck's pretty solid. The mana base maybe needs a little tuning. It might be the pathways are just a bit of a disaster. We just need to play more shocks, which would be fine. And hey, we can do that. We'll keep 6. I think we keep 6. Put the Loxodon on the bottom. Yeah, this is where I am. Leave with the breeding pool. Oh. Wait. Green White Elves again? Or are we looking at Angels? I'm like, is that the same name? I can't remember. That's how... that's an overgrown farmland. It's probably not elves. Alright, cool. Yeah. We don't have tons of time. But, let's go Beanstalk. We've got the double blue for green now. For Deep Fiend. Ooh. Let's just cast this, save the treasure. Okay. They didn't have the turn to Archangel to like 2/4 or Bishop, which is nice. But it probably means if they kept their hand that they have a Collector Company. If they have another land here, they are in the tank. And they did play an overgrown farmland, so maybe they don't. Now, they have a thicket. There is a Righteous Valkyrie. We would like to get rid of that as soon as possible, if possible. In for 2 and pass. Okay. How do we want to do this? Green. If I go 1, 2... Oh, because we need the treasure to convoke. 1, 2, 3... Realistically... Yeah, I need to do this, don't I? Don't do that. Actually make sure we cap convoke here. It's a shame you can't find Elder Deep Fiend off of the Night Errant. There's not really a good way to get around that though. Oh, the ability? Okay. Voice some Lana Ralph. Good game. Oh, get lost. We need the white source. Alright. To be fair, we've not hit what we needed to. I talk about how much I hate Angels. I was playing the Black Knight that like stops your opponent gaining life and discipled on my elf stack on Monday. You got that combo. Unfortunately, there's not any coming back from this from us. Ooh, okay, rough. Yeah, we really need to just kind of get like a Deep Fiend start here, or like a Deep Fiend early. We didn't see as much as we'd like to. It's unfortunate we can't actually find them off of the 5 drops. Well, I lied to say I didn't have fun, but it's magic. It is what it is. All right, I'll see you in the post game. All right, post matches wrap up. I think we went 3-3. We had a couple of games there where we stumbled, which wasn't great. A couple of games we just kind of like missed on the stuff that we're doing. There were a few games where I was like, oh, if we have Deep Fiend, we're like golden. Then maybe we need to play more copies of Fierce Empath. That's definitely something we can look at. The interaction pieces didn't come up that often. I don't think we drew Night of Autumn at all. It's over like 5 games, 6 games. That's fair. Like, being with these things, I think there's a lot of promise, but we need to like flesh out a little bit on what we're doing kind of in the middle, kind of bridging the gap between elves and here. Night, being able to find stuff is pretty cool, but there are a couple of matches where you just can kind of get to do stuff on time. Angels is one where we really need to either interact early or have some way to stabilize the board. And so kind of the way that we would win that matchup is kind of tempoing them out without a Deep Fiend, or making an early Loxodon to try to put pressure on and force them to block things. Also, like, Reflective Mage is a house there. If we're playing one side, we'd probably ball them in. An interesting one. It's an interesting one. Mono Red, I think, is generally pretty good. We have like Voice really clogs the board up. We've got Knights, we've got Innkeepers getting some life back, and then we just start slamming 4/4s they can't really interact with. But we also lost that one too. Yeah, the Elf match was just like a pest. You just stumbled. Mana base wise, then we can cut some of the pathways and play some more shocks, and maybe we can trim some of these basics because I don't want to get. While I dislike getting Field of the Dead, as long as we have one of them, we should be kind of okay. It always works out that if you play one, you've always drawn the one when they feel to ruin you. But yeah, that's how that goes. Other than that, I think the shell is actually pretty great. There's a lot of hoping. I'm going to play around and tinker this a bit. Let me know if you want to see a best of 3 set with this match, with this deck. It's something I want to mess around with a little bit more. I am a huge proponent of Elder Deep Fiend. I played it a ton when it was in Standard, and I've been meaning to play it a bit more in Arena and then explore it since it's been in the format. And yeah, there are a few different things you can mess around with it in. This is one of them. It's also possible, I should say as well, that the actual answer is to either trim down to like green, blue, cut the white cards, and be like more just all in on Deep Fiend and stuff like that. There are some ways to do that. There's like Sultai Emerge. There's a couple of other Emerge cards that you can look at as well, which would be pretty cool. It's finding, make sure there's like payoffs for that. There's some of those payoffs, again, like Sanctum Mugen, that land I talked about in the deck deck, are not unfortunately on Arena yet. Things like Kozilek's Return, I don't believe is here as well. But we're going to get some of those soon, because Pioneer's going to be on Arena by the end of next year. And in between now and then, they will put those cards in, so excited for that. Hope you enjoyed the video. Deck is super, super sweet. Definitely recommend it. Very, very fun. I'm going to definitely jam a bunch more with it. And yeah, if you're not already, please do like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. Share the video around. Tell your friends. Play some Explorer. Alright, peace out. Have a great day.